we will do homological characterization of invariant called grade of a ideal with respect to a module. So last time we looked at properties of M regular sequences, and we saw that M regular sequences need not have same length. Need not have same length. So I am assuming all the time that R is Noetherian, and modules are finitely generated. So the question arises: what are the conditions that we need so that regular sequences have same length? So it turns out that if you look at M regular sequences contained in an ideal, you have M regular sequence x1, xn belonging to I, where I is an ideal, and I times M is not equal to M, then if this is a maximal M regular sequence, then N is independent of the sequence chosen. Yeah, I think there is some echo. I want to remove the echo. Just a minute. Okay. All right. So if you go back and look at those examples where we had regular sequences of different length, then you will see that they were not contained. The different sequences were not contained in the same ideal. Okay. Yes. And this can be proved using classical techniques, but we want to do it using the extension functors. Okay. So first of all, let us see that you cannot have an M regular sequence of infinite length contained in an ideal. Okay. There cannot be an M sequence of infinite length in I. And this is because of the property of R being Noetherian. Because suppose I have a sequence, M sequence, is an M sequence in I, then x1, x2 properly contains this. The ideal generated by x1 is properly contained in the ideal generated by x1, x2, because this element x2 gives rise to a multiplication map, which is an injective map. Okay, so if this ideal is equal to this ideal, then this will not be true because x2 belongs to x1m. Okay, and the same argument can be given. So if you look at this chain of ideals, x1, x2, xn, contained in x1, x2, xn plus 1, this cannot go on because it will not satisfy the ascending chain condition. Okay, this is a strictly ascending, it cannot be a strictly ascending chain. If it is a regular M regular sequence, we get a strictly ascending chain, and that is a contradiction to Noetherian property. So regular sequences inside the ideal I will have finite length, but it is not clear uh, why all of them should have same length, because the starting point can be any non-zero divisor, and in many situations there will be infinitely many regular sequences. Okay, each one has finite length, but we want to show that the maximal ones will have same length. Okay, and this will be proved using the extension functor. So let me first state in the simplest form why this happens. So the assumptions are R is Noetherian and I is an ideal, so that IM is not equal to M, and M is a finitely generated module, finite R module. We will see why this condition is really needed. There are homological reasons for this. Okay, so I'll discuss that in absence of this condition, we cannot have a homological criterion using the extension functors. Okay, so we have to impose this condition that IM is not equal to M. Okay, so under these assumptions, you look at the X modules, X I R, R mod I M. Okay, this is a sequence of X modules for I equal to 0, 1, etc. And we will see that there will be a stage where some nth X is not 0, and all the previous ones are all 0. They are all 0 for all I less than n. And this n will become the length of all maximal M regular sequences in I. Okay, and in the absence of this condition, IM not equal to M, suppose IM is equal to M, we will see that all the X modules will actually vanish. So we cannot use the non-vanishing property to characterize the length of all maximal M regular sequences. Okay, so that's the, so we will prove these statements. So let us understand, first of all, suppose an ideal has no M regular element. Okay, consider that situation first. So we are given this ideal, and the ideal has no M regular element. If I has no M regular elements, then I is actually contained, I is contained in the set of zero divisors of M. But the set of zero divisors is the union of associated primes. And because the ring is Noetherian and M is finitely generated, this is a finite set. And so by prime avoidance lemma, I is contained in one of them. Okay, I is contained in one of these associated primes. Okay, so but we know that the associated primes are actually a subset of support of the module. This is all P, all prime ideal, so that MP is not equal to 0. And because of finite generation, this is a closed subset in Zariski topology, and it is the variety of annihilator of M. Okay. So associated primes are containing the annihilator of M, and they are in the support. Okay. So therefore, R mod I to R mod P, I have a non-trivial homomorphism. Okay, the natural map which sends a residue class to another residue class of the same element in R mod P. This is a non-trivial map. Okay, and because P is an associated prime, R mod P actually injects into M. Okay, so therefore, if I compose these two maps, this is the inclusion map, and this is the natural map pi. Then IO pi is an element in HOM R mod IM, and this is a non-zero map. Okay, this is a non-zero map. So therefore, HOM is not zero. Okay, HOM is actually X0. This is not equal to 0. So if there is no M regular sequence, then the zeroth X itself is not 0. Okay, so that explains what I said in the beginning, that the X modules can be used to characterize maximum length of M regular sequences, because I said that look at the smallest n, which is non-zero, and all the previous X are 0. So in this case, when I has no M regular element, HOM itself was non-zero. Okay, so therefore the X modules are detecting existence of M regular sequences. Yeah, in this simple case. Okay, so let us make this very precise. Yeah, so let M and N be finite R modules. And R is Noetherian. Okay. Now, if I is the annihilator of the one of these modules, okay, and it has no it has it has a M regular element. Okay, if it has a M regular element, then HOM R Mn is 0. I mean, Nm is 0. So I'm taking the annihilator of the first module, yeah, and we have a non-zero divisor on this second module. Then HOM Nm is 0. Okay, and converse converse is also true. So I should have said if and only if statement. So without the finite generation, this statement is true, but the converse is true if M and N are finite modules. Okay, Mn are just R modules, and converse is true if M and N are finitely generated. Converse. That is vanishing of HOM Nm tells you existence of M regular elements in the annihilator of N. The case that I was discussing just now was when N equal to R mod I. when n is R mod I, n is R mod I, then the annihilator of n is just I. Okay. Yeah, so let us prove this statement. So first assume that the annihilator has a m regular element. So pick this m regular element. Suppose A is in I, which is the annihilator of n, and A is m regular. And suppose that there is a R linear map from n to n. R module homomorphism. Okay, I want to show that this is 0. So look at any element of n. I want to show that Fn is 0, but just look at A times n. Okay, A kills all elements of n. So this an is 0, so this must be 0, but it is R linear map, so it is A times f of n. But this is happening in M, and A is a non-zero divisor on n, M, so therefore Fn is 0. As A is M regular, Fn is 0. So Hom Nm is 0 if annihilator of the first module contains a M regular element. Let's look at the converse. Conversely, let Hom R Nm is 0. Okay. Yeah. And now I'm assuming that, so the first part did not assume that N, M, N are finitely generated. It didn't even assume R is Noetherian. But now we will assume all these hypotheses that N and M are finitely generated and R is Noetherian. And N and M are finite R modules. Okay. And Hom Nm is 0. So I want to show that there is a M regular element in the annihilator. The annihilator of N has M regular element. So suppose this is not true. Suppose this is false. This means there are no M regular elements, and therefore I must be contained in the zero divisors. This is the argument I gave just now, but for R mod I. But now we have two general modules, N and M, and I is the annihilator of M. It has no M regular element, so it is contained in the zero divisors of M. Okay, zero divisors of M are union of associated primes. Okay, and here now we are using that M is Noetherian and R is Noetherian. M is finitely generated, R is Noetherian. So this is a finite set, and I is contained in the union, and therefore I is contained in one of the associated primes for some P, which is an associated prime of M. Okay, and remember this I is the annihilator of N, and P contains the annihilator. P contains the annihilator of N, and therefore P belongs to support of this module, because support is just the variety of the annihilator. Okay, so when I localize N at P, this is not 0. Yeah, N is also finitely generated. So by Nakayama lemma, okay, by Nakayama lemma, when I take P, NP, this is not 0. So I'm thinking of NP as NP is an RP module. RP is a Noetherian local ring. and NP is an RP module, and this finitely generated module is non-zero, and therefore Nakayama lemma says that PNP is not equal to 0. Yeah. Okay, but NP, so if I take NP over PNP, okay, this is not, I mean, NP or PNP, I must have said NP or PNP is not equal to 0. NP is not 0, so NP or PNP is not equal to 0 by Nakayama lemma. And so, but NP or PNP is a vector space, over the residue field of RP. The residue field of RP is denoted by KP. Okay, it is really RP over its maximal ideal. Okay, this is a vector space, finite dimensional vector space, right? And it's a finite dimensional vector space. So I can project, there is a projection map from NP over PNP to KP. Yeah, write it as a direct sum of finitely many copies of KP and then project onto any other KP. So this is a non-trivial map. Okay, this is a non-trivial map to KP. Yeah, but you see, P was an associated prime. I was contained in one of the associated primes, and P is an associated prime. So that means that R mod P injects into M. So I localize at P, and localization is exact functor. So it will preserve this injection. And so when I localize, I get RP over PRP that injects into localization of M at P. This is my KP. Okay, so I have injection from KP to MP. I have a non-trivial projection map, NP over PNP to this. So I just compose with MP. Okay, so let us, this is inclusion map. This is the projection map. So if I compose these maps, I get a map, and then, wait a minute. Yeah, so take NP, and then I go mod PNP, and then follow it up by projection, follow it by injection, and then compose. So that tells me that HOM, RP, NP, MP is not 0. M and N are finitely generated modules, and for finitely generated modules, localization distributes over HOM. This is really the localization of the R module, HOM, and M, and localize. This is not equal to 0, but if localization of a R module is not 0, the module itself is not 0. Okay, so I have, this is a contradiction. I assumed that HOM NM is 0. Okay, by assuming that I has no M regular element, I have derived a contradiction that HOM NM is not 0, and therefore I must have annihilator of M has an M regular element. So we had a property of elements that is M regular or zero divisor, and we have translated that property of elements into a property of some module being non-zero. Okay. So the advantage here is that the non-vanishing of some module is a more intrinsic property. It is not, telling anything about the element as such. So that's how we will detect. Construction of regular sequences is not easy, because you have to know, if you really want to construct, you have to know what are the associated primes. Computing associated primes is a difficult task. But proving that some X module is 0, many times we just have some exact sequences and we are able to prove that they are 0 or non-zero. So we are converting the existence of regular elements into a homological statement. Yeah. So this was about existence of one M regular element. All right. So we want to now generalize this statement for existence of regular sequences of length bigger than 1. This was just characterizing existence of non-zero divisors. M regular element contained in the annihilator of the first module. But suppose we want to now characterize when annihilator of n contains a regular sequence of length n rather than just length 1. Okay, then we have to go to the next module, and I want to prove a very important theorem proved by David Rees, which characterizes length of M regular sequences in terms of vanishing of X. But let me first explain to you this condition that we have been putting. So we distinguish between quasi M regular sequences and M regular sequences. And there we put the condition that IM is not equal to M. See, if we were working over local rings, yeah, Noetherian local ring, and M is finitely generated and I is a proper ideal, IM is not going to be equal to M, by otherwise M will be 0 by Nakayama lemma. Okay. So 0 module, we will declare 0, 0. We will see what is the technical difficulty about 0 module. Okay, we have to make some convention. But IM is not equal to M for finitely generated module over a Noetherian local ring by Nakayama lemma. So this condition is automatically satisfied over local ring. But the theorems that we are proving are not for local rings. They are arbitrary Noetherian rings. Okay, in arbitrary Noetherian rings, if IM could be equal to M. Yeah, right. So we have to see what goes wrong if IM is equal to M. Okay. What happens if IM is equal to M? Okay, let us try to understand that. So let us assume our ring is again Noetherian. R is Noetherian, and M and N are finitely generated R modules. Yeah. So suppose that the annihilator of M and annihilator of N, okay, they are co-maximal ideals. R is not a local ring, you see. R is not a local ring. R is arbitrary Noethian ring, and I have two finitely generated modules. It is very much possible that their annihilators are co-maximal, right? You can easily construct examples even over Z. Okay, Z mod P and Z mod Q, where P and Q are distinct prime numbers. This condition will be satisfied. Okay, so if I have two finitely generated modules so that their annihilators are co-maximal, then let us prove that all the X modules vanish. Okay, all the X modules vanish. So you cannot really use a homological characterization in this situation to detect length of M regular sequences. Okay, because all of them vanish. Okay, and in particular, if n equal to say R mod I, if n equal to R mod I, and I n equal to n, no, wait a minute. I should say Mn. Yeah. So if n equal if m equal to R mod I, the first module is R mod I, and the annihilator of the first module is In times n equal to n, then this condition is satisfied. Then annihilator of m plus annihilator of n is actually equal to R, and all the X modules are equal to 0. So I mean, they are equal to 0. So we cannot use them to detect uh, n regular sequences inside the annihilator of n. Okay, so let us prove that these are vanishing. Okay, maybe I should shift to the next page here. Yeah. Okay. Right. So let us first see what is the meaning of these two annihilators being co-maximal. Suppose they are co-maximal. Yeah. Let us see that this is if and only if annihilator of m times n is n itself. Okay. Yeah, proof. So the co-maximality condition says that 1 equal to R plus S, where R is in the annihilator and S is in the annihilator of n. Okay. So R is in the annihilator of M, and I want to look at the submodule which is generated by annihilator of M inside N. Okay, and R is in the annihilator of M. So R times N, okay, is equal to R plus S times N, because S kills every element of N. This S kills every element of M. So R times N is this. Okay, but R plus S is 1, so therefore this is equal to N. R is just one of the elements in the annihilator, and this submodule has become the whole module, and therefore annihilator of M times N is also the whole module. Because R is just one of the elements in the annihilator. Okay, so this is true, and look at the converse. Okay, let us prove the converse, that let annihilator of M times n be equal to n. Okay, suppose this condition is satisfied. Yeah. Then because n is finitely generated module and in equal to n, this is some ideal. In equal to n is finitely generated. So by Nakayama lemma, yeah, we will have an element. Okay, we will have some element in the annihilator of n. Okay, so annihilator of n, annihilator of m times n equal to n means there is an element R belonging to annihilator of m which kills n. So therefore, I can write 1 equal to 1 plus R minus R. This belongs to annihilator of n, and R was already in the annihilator of m. So therefore, these two ideals are co-maximal. Okay, so I have proved that if two annihilators are co-maximal, then annihilator of m times n is n, or the other way around, annihilator of n times m is equal to m. Okay. Now let us prove that this implies that all the X modules vanish. Okay. This is because you have seen before, I think, was it proved, Indranath? You have proved annihilator of each component is in the
No,
annihilator of the X
no,
module.
no, I didn't. Not exactly in this language, at least.
Yeah. Okay, these two, the annihilator of each component. This is basically because the X modules are linear functors. Okay, if something, if a map from M to M is zero map, if this multiplication map by R is zero, it induces multiplication by R on the X functors also.
Yeah, that was done actually in
Right.
the
So
sense in
that,
the formula. Yeah,
yeah. So that implies
yeah.
that the annihilators are contained in the annihilator of the X modules. Okay, but annihilators of these two modules, they are comaximal, and so one belongs to this, and one is in the annihilator. So that says that the module itself is zero. Yeah, so that is why we have to impose this condition that this does not happen. Annihilator of m times n is not equal to n. If you are looking at n regular sequence in annihilator of m, then annihilator of m times n should not be equal to n. Otherwise, all the x modules are zero, and you cannot detect depth by using the x modules. Okay. Yeah, so I want to now prove that X modules under these conditions, that the ring is Noetherian and M and N are non-zero finite modules. Then the maximal M regular sequences in the annihilator of the first module will have same length if M is not equal to IM. That is the theorem of Ries that I want to prove. But first we prove what is called a change of ring principle for X modules. Yeah, strictly speaking, this is not, yeah, this is not changing the ring. Actually, I don't need the change, but I'm changing the X modules. Okay, so we have R is now any ring, any commutative ring. It's a very general principle, and N and M are R modules. So I'm not requiring that they are finitely generated, and X equal to X1, X2, Xn is a weak, okay, it's a weak M sequence in annihilator of n. So weak means the x times m will not could be equal to m. We are not worried about that condition. So I have a weak M sequence contained in the annihilator of n. Yeah, then the nth text of nm is isomorphic to Hom R of n m mod xm. So xm is the submodule generated by x1 xn inside m. So we replace the module m by m mod xm, but then this n has reduced. Okay, n has reduced to 0. So this is the x0 of n and m mod xm. So we will use this change of modules, and x gets simplified. Okay, so let me prove this statement. Yeah, so we will apply induction on n. And suppose n equal to 0. So I have no sequence. Yeah, I have no sequence. Then it is, the two statements are obviously true, because x0 nm is Hom Rnm. So n equal to 0 is fine. Okay, so you look at the shortened sequence y equal to x1 xn minus 1. So this is also a weak, this is a weak M sequence. Yeah, this is a weak M sequence. So by induction hypothesis, we have that now the length is n minus 1. So I look at n minus first ext of nm, and that is equal to Hom R n m over ym. Okay, that is by induction hypothesis. Okay, but you look at this module Hom n m mod ym. What can you say about this module? Hom R n m mod x1 xn minus 1 m. See, x1 xn is weak M sequence. And what can you say about this module? Can anybody answer that?
0.
Yeah, why is that?
Because xn is regular on m mod x1, x2, so on till xn, and also it is there in the annihilator of n.
Right. So by when I analyzed when Hom nm vanishes, so by that argument, this is actually 0. So the induction hypothesis is giving me that xn minus 1 R of nm is actually 0. Okay. Yeah. Do you see that this argument also proves that the lower other x's are also 0 below n? The same argument. This argument also follows by a similar thing, because when I go mod, this is same as by induction hypothesis. This is same as Hom R n m mod x1 xi m. And xi belongs to annihilator of n, which is regular on this, therefore Hom is 0. So all the x below n, they are equal to 0. Okay. Yeah. If I have a weak M sequence of enough length. But now I want to show that the nth ext is also Hom of n m mod xm. I have to bring in some exact sequence to get to the nth ext. Okay. Yeah. So look at the first element, x1. This is a injective map because x1 is a part of a weak M sequence, and so therefore this sequence is exact sequence. Okay. This is an exact sequence of our modules. Okay. When I have exact sequence of R modules, there is a long exact sequence of X. So so this is going to be a covariant functor. Yeah, it's going to be a covariant functor. So I already proved that xn minus 1 nm is 0. In the long exact sequence, this will be one of the modules. So I use this vanishing to get this exact sequence, 0 to x r n minus 1 n m mod x1m, yeah, and then x n r nm to x r nm. And this map is the multiplication map by x1. this multiplication map give rise to multiplication map in the long exact sequence. So that was proved, right, Indranath? Yeah, I remember this. This was proved. But this is a simple fact. You can use either projective resolution of n or injective resolution of m and show this fact. Okay. So, but you see, x1 is in the annihilator. Okay, it is in the annihilator of n, which is contained in the annihilator of all the x modules. Okay, so this is a zero map. This map is the zero map. Therefore, this short exact sequence gets converted into an isomorphism. Yeah, to extend R nm to 0. So this is an isomorphism. Yeah, but by induction hypothesis, this is Hom. So Hom n mod xm is isomorphic to nth ext of nm. Okay. This is called Rice's theorem. So this is reducing higher ext into Hom. This is a very useful technique to convert nth ext into a Hom. Hom is much easier to analyze. Okay, so let us now prove the homological characterization of length of maximal M regular sequences. So this is maybe, wait a minute, 31. Yeah. Okay, so Rice's theorem. So R is Noetherian and M and N are finitely generated R modules. I is annihilator of N and M is not equal to IM. Okay, so M is not annihilator of N times M. Okay, this is saying that the two annihilators are not co-maximal. Okay, so the X modules became 0 when they were co-maximal. So we are imposing this condition. We are detecting M regular sequences in the ideal I, and we are putting M is not equal to IM, so that we encounter some non-vanishing X. Okay, then all M regular sequences, then all maximal M regular sequences in I have equal length N and N equal to the min of I, so that X die R NM is not equal to 0. Okay, so we are just examining all these X1, NM, X2, NM, etc. And we are saying that look at the first non-vanishing. All the previous ones will be 0. The first non-vanishing X tells me, the superscript tells me the length of maximal M regular sequence inside the annihilator of the first module. So in practice, it is used when N is equal to R mod I. So we want to detect the length of maximal M regular sequence contained in an ideal. Then we just look at n equal to R mod I, and then its annihilator of n is just I. Okay. Yeah. So therefore, so this number is called the grade of IM. Okay. This is the maximum. This is the length of maximal M regular sequence contained in the ideal. So this is therefore this is equal to the min of I, where X I R mod I M is not equal to 0. So proof. We almost proved it. Yeah, we have just put together those lemmas. So suppose I take a maximal M regular sequence in the annihilator belonging to I, which is the annihilator of N, and is maximal M regular sequence. In this ideal. So this means that when I go mod this elements, the submodule generated by these elements, okay, then the annihilator, then I is contained in the set of zero divisors. I can't find any more element which is regular when I go mod x1 up to xn m. Okay. Yeah. But it is also telling me that if I go mod this submodule, which is a smaller submodule, okay, this submodule, then by Ries's theorem, I know that this x tie of n m is isomorphic to Hom R n m mod x1 xi m. Okay, and this module, because n annihilator of n contains a xi plus 1 is in the annihilator of n, this is a non-zero divisor on m mod this, so this is 0 for all I which is less than n. Okay, and I is contained in the set of zero divisors, so therefore Hom R of n m mod x1 xn m, yeah, this is non-zero. But again we apply Ries's theorem, this is isomorphic to x n r n m. So if I have a M regular sequence, maximal M regular sequence of length n, then nth x of nm is not 0, but the previous x are all 0. Okay, is this clear? All right, so how will you prove the converse? How to prove the converse? So suppose that x0 r nm equal to x n minus 1 r nm, they are all 0, and x n r nm is not 0. Yeah, then I want to show that the annihilator of n has M regular sequence and it is maximal of length n. Yeah. Yeah, maximal M regular sequence will have length precisely n, because suppose the maximal M regular sequence, this length is less than n. If the length of maximal M regular sequence in I has length less than n, then by this argument it will say that xi r nm is not 0 for I less than n. But this is a contradiction, because I'm assuming that the xi nm is actually 0. And it can't have length bigger than n. That will say that nth hext of nm is 0. But nth hext of nm is not 0 by assumption. So the same argument proves the converse also. So this has given us a new, very interesting invariant, which is the foundation of Cohen-Macaulay rings. It gives this invariant called grade of an ideal with respect to a module, which is, that is, R is Noetherian, M is finite, R module, IM is not equal to M. All these assumptions are there. Under these assumptions, grade of IM is length of maximal M regular sequence in I. Okay, this is a well-defined number, and this is called the grade of IM, and we want to understand its relationship with other invariants. Okay, what are the properties of this new invariant? This is very closely related with the dimension of the module, which you are learning through Hilbert polynomial, and these there were 3 definitions of dimensions, and dimension theorem is proving those 3 definitions. This is very closely related with the height of ideal, or codimension of the variety of I. Yeah. So we want to understand its relation with the other invariants, and we already have the homological characterization. Okay. And here is a definition. If you have a local ring, if Rm is a local ring, Noetherian local ring, very often I may not say Noetherian, this is assumed. Rm is Noetherian local ring, and M a finite R module, M is not equal to 0, then grade of MM, this is usually denoted by depth of M. Okay. So when I say depth of a module over a local ring, a non-zero module over a local ring, that will mean the maximal M regular sequence contained in the maximal ideal, because there we have possibility of finding the regular sequences of maximal length in the maximal ideal. If you shrink your ideal, then the length of maximal M regular sequences may be shorter. Yeah. So to find really truly the maximal M regular sequence, we look at the maximal ideal of a local ring. Then the depth of the module is with respect to this maximal ideal. It is grade of MM. And if IM equal to M, then we know that none of the X are vanishing. I mean, none of the X are non-vanishing. Then we simply say the grade of IM is infinity. So in particular, this is true for M equal to 0. So the 0 module is supposed to have infinite length. This is counterintuitive. Yeah. But we want to reconcile our characterization of grade with the first non-vanishing X. And there are no non-vanishing X if IM equal to M. So we say grade is infinite. and all the formulas that we will prove about grade and various other invariants, they become valid in this situation. So we are forced to make this convention that if Im equal to m, then the grade of Im will be by convention written as infinite. Any questions? So let us prove some properties of grade. Yeah, so suppose UMN are finitely generated R modules, are a Noethen ring, and we have an exact sequence. Okay. So natural question arises how the grade of an ideal on these three modules are related. Then this says that exactly one of the following three statements holds. Holds about the grade. Okay. So we have grade of Im, grade of IU, grade of IN. These are the three possible grades, and exactly one of these statements will hold true, that the grade of Im is bigger than equal to grade of IU, and it will be forced to be equal to grade of IN plus 1. Yeah, grade of the kernel will be one more than the grade of the co-kernel, and these two numbers will be less equal to grade of Im. The second inequality says that the grade of the kernel is bigger or equal to the grade of Im, and it will be forced to be equal to grade of In. And the last one says that the grade of In, the grade of the co-kernel is strictly bigger than the grade of the two other modules, and in that case they will be equal. U equal to grade of M. I have to add a page. Okay, so to prove these that one of these inequalities about grade is true, we just look at we just use the homological characterization and the long exact sequence. Yeah, there is a long exact sequence of X modules. So we are trying to detect the grade of an ideal in a module, yeah, and show that one of these is true. Okay, so to detect the grade of I have to understand which of these x are non-zero or zero. Yeah, we have to take x I r of r mod I and these three modules and understand which one of these are zero and which ones are non-zero. Okay, so apply Hom r mod I to this sequence and take the long exact sequence. Yeah, so when you do that, then I get this long exact sequence at I minus 1 level first, r mod u, r mod I u to x I minus 1 r, r mod I m. Yeah, I'm running out of space. X I r, r mod I n. This is the I minus first level. Then you write the ith text. And so on. Yeah. So first we have to deal with the extreme case. So suppose IM is M. M is the middle module, and suppose IM is M. Then by our convention, grade of IM is infinity. So under this assumption, I have to prove that these inequalities are true. Yeah. So under this condition, we know that all the X modules are vanishing for all I. All the X modules are vanishing. So these xi r mod I, these are occurring, if you look at each level, they are occurring in the middle. Okay, all these are zero modules. So if you say look at this situation, this is zero module. Okay, and this is also zero module. So that tells me that this xi r mod I u is isomorphic to xi minus 1 r mod I n. Okay, so it says that xi r mod I u is isomorphic to xi minus 1 r mod I n, okay, for all I. This is just a minute. Yeah, this is not for all, for I bigger than equal to 1. This is true for all I bigger than equal to 1. But if you look at the I equal to 0 level, okay, I equal to 0 level, we will have Hom r mod I u, and then Hom r mod I m to Hom r mod I n. Okay, this is also 0. See, all the x r mod I m is 0 because I'm saying I m is m, and this is therefore this module, because this module is 0 and it is in exact sequence. So that says that Hom is also 0. Yeah, this Hom is 0. And all the xi of r mod I u and xi I are isomorphic to xi minus 1 r mod I n. And if you use this, then and if I am equal to m, I have this exact sequence u to m to n equal to 0. This n is really isomorphic to m mod u. Yeah, you can assume u is a submodule of m and n is isomorphic to m mod u. And if I am equal to m, implies I of m I times m mod u, which is equal to im plus u over u, but im is m, so this is m mod u. So the same condition will hold, right? So grade of I n is also infinite. Yeah. So if grade of im is infinite, grade of in is also infinite. And grade of iu will also be infinite. You will see that. So this triviality can be easily done away with. And we can assume that, so same argument can be given if you assume in equal to n or iu equal to u. So this extreme case can be taken care using this long exact sequence that under those conditions that im is m or iu is u or in is n, all these x modules will vanish, and therefore we don't need to worry about this. These are trivially true. So assume that im is not equal to m and in is not equal to n and iu is not equal to u. Under that condition, we can use Ries's characterization for grade, because we expect some x to be non-zero under those conditions. So now assume im is not equal to m, iu is not equal to u, and in is not equal to n. Okay, and then use Ries's characterization. And this long exact sequence will actually tell you. Yeah, long exact sequence will tell. These three inequalities are, you can check very easily that only one of them holds without really knowing what are these numbers. Okay, one of these inequalities holds always. Yeah, and so they are mutually exclusive inequalities, and to prove one of them, you just use the characterization of Ries using the non-vanishing and vanishing of x, and put it in this long exact sequence. You will see that the inequality is actually valid. Okay, so I leave that verification to you. It's a straightforward verification. Okay. Yeah, any questions? Yeah, so let us now relate this invariant with local invariants. How to calculate this? That this invariant can be calculated locally. So suppose I and j are ideals of a Noether ring, and M is a finite R module. Okay, M is a finite R module. Then if I want to calculate grade, I can do this locally, which means it is the infimum of depth of MP, where P belongs to support of M and P contains I. Okay, so just localize the module at various prime ideals in the variety of I, and then take the infimum, that is the grade of IM. Now depth of MP, this depth of MP is really, it is the maximal MP regular sequence in the maximal ideal of R localized at P. R localized at P is a Noetherian local ring, and you look at the maximal MP regular sequence in the unique maximal ideal of RP, that is the depth of the module localized at P, and the grade is the smallest of all these things. Okay. So this infimum is actually, for one of these primes, this infimum will actually be the grade of IM. Okay, then this fact implies that under some ideal theoretic operations, how grade behaves. So grade of IM is same as grade of radical of IM. Okay. Third, if I take intersection of two ideals, then this is the min of grade IM and grade JM. Okay. So let us prove these three formulas. The second and third formulas, they easily follow from the first formula, because the prime ideals which contain I are same as prime ideals which contain radical of I. So second is really easy consequence of first. And the third one, you just use that variety of I intersection J is equal to variety of I union variety of J. So if you take infimum over union of two sets, then you just take the min over these two sets, infimum over these two sets. So 2 and 3 are easy consequences of the first statement. So first statement says that I can find grade by looking at the depth of the localized module at various primes which contain I. So let us prove that fact. Okay, so proof. So this is proof of part 1, that grade of IM is equal to infimum of depth M localized at P, where P belongs to variety of I. Right? So we first deal with the case when IM is equal to M. Then the left hand side is infinity. Okay, left hand side is infinity. And if IM equal to M, then when I localize at a prime which contains I, this is equal to MP. So by Nakayama lemma, okay, I is contained in P. So this IP is contained in the maximal ideal. So since this IP is contained in the Jacobson radical of RP, and M is finitely generated, so MP is finitely generated over RP. And so by Nakayama lemma, it says that MP is 0. But if MP is equal to 0, then the grade of PRP MP by our convention is infinity for every P. So the two sides are equal. So we may assume that IM is not equal to M. Okay, and assume that IM is not equal to M. So suppose that the grade is, in this case, it's a finite number. So suppose that the grade is N, and X1, X2, Xn belong to I is a maximal M regular sequence, M sequence. If it is a maximal M sequence, then just a minute. I have to add a page. Yeah. Okay. So take a maximal M regular sequence, And we want to compare these sequences, vis-a-vis the MP regular sequences inside PRP. Okay, but you know that localization is an exact functor. So if x1 up to xn is M sequence, it implies that when I localize, go to PRP, if these are elements in PRP, they are MP regular sequence, right? Because after all, to see that this is a MP regular sequence, I have to simply see that the map, which is multiplication by xi over 1 on MP over x1 xi minus 1 MP to itself, okay, this is an injective map. This multiplication map by xi over 1 is an injective map. Okay, but this injective map is it is injective because the original map, which is multiplication by xi on M mod x1 up to xi minus 1 M to itself, yeah, that is an injection. An injection is preserved by localization because localization is exact functor. So when I take the images of xi's in PRP, it will be an MP regular sequence, and that says that the grade of PRP MP is at least 10, because I have a MP regular sequence of length n. Yeah. So each of these numbers under this condition, the depth of MP, this is depth of MP. Okay, this is bigger or equal to grade of IM for all P which contain I. All prime ideals which contain I, grade of IM is less equal to depth of MP, and therefore this will be less equal to the infimum. Infimum of depth MP, where P contains I. Okay, so I want to now to show that it is an equality. What do I have to prove? Can anybody tell me what do I have to prove to show it is equality? Yeah. Remember, I'm trying to prove that grade of IM is equal to infimum of depth of MP, where P contains I.
So the depth of MP has to be less than or equal to this grade I for all P.
Yeah. So if I prove that grade IM is actually depth of MP for some P,
then also it is.
Then it will be equal. Yeah. So we show grade of IM is equal to depth of MP for some P. Yeah, then it will be equal. Yeah. So, but you see, this is a finite number because IM is not equal to M, and x1, xn is maximal M regular sequence. So this means that I is contained in the set of zero divisors when I go mod the submodule generated by these elements. If I was not contained in the set of zero divisors, I would have found a non-zero divisor after going mod x1 up to xnm, and that will violate the maximality condition. So I has to be contained in the set of zero divisors. Yeah. But set of zero divisors is the union of associated primes, and therefore I is contained in P, where P is an associated prime of this quotient module. Yeah. Yeah. But associated primes localize well. P is an associated prime of a module, implies it is if and only if the localized, the maximal ideal is an associated prime of the localized module. So the maximal ideal of RP is an associated prime of MP over this. So that means PRP consists of 0 divisors on this module. So therefore, x1 over 1, xn over 1 is a maximal MP regular sequence. So that says that n is equal to depth of MP. So we have proved that there is an associated prime of the module m over x1 up to xn, and the depth of MP for that associated prime is precisely the grade of Im, and so we have proved this formula. Do you agree?
Sir, here we have started with the maximal M regular sequence. So is it arbitrary maximal M regular sequence or is it maximal M regular sequence in I?
Maximal M regular sequence in I.
Okay.
Grade Im is n.
Okay.
That is the maximal M regular sequence inside the ideal I. Any other doubt?
Can you repeat the last argument?
Pardon?
Repeat the last argument.
Yeah. So I proved earlier that the grade of Im is less equal to depth of MP. This is by localization. If I have a M regular sequence, I go to the local ring, and localization of M regular sequence will be MP regular sequence if P contains I. Okay. So grade of Im is less equal to depth of MP for every P containing I. I want to show that it is actually equal for some prime ideal. Okay. So because x1 up to xn, grade of Im is n, so I have a maximal M regular sequence of length n. And so that means that the ideal I is contained in the 0 divisors when I go mod x1 up to xn. This is a maximal M regular sequence inside the ideal I. Okay, we are not saying just M sequence. That we have to specify in which ideal. That's the meaning of grade Im. So this is a maximal M regular sequence contained inside this ideal. That means the ideal is contained after I go mod x1 up to xn m. The ideal is contained in the set of 0 divisors. But 0 divisors are union of associated primes, and so I will be, by prime avoidance lemma, I will be contained in one of the associated prime. But if P is an associated prime of M mod x1 up to xn m, then I localize, and PRP will be associated prime of MP over x1 up to xn MP. So that says that PRP consists of 0 divisors on MP over this submodule, because associated primes consist of 0 divisors on the module. Yeah. So that says that x1 over 1, xn over 1, this is a maximal MP regular sequence. And by definition of depth, it says that n is the depth of MP. So it is achieved for some prime, that the grade of Im is achieved as depth of MP for some prime containing I. So this is an equality, that to compute depth of grade of an ideal with respect to a module, I can compute the depth of local modules, MP, where P contains I, and take the infimum. Is that clear?
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other doubt? The other parts I will leave it for you to read because they just follow from part 1. All right, so I think time is over. We will stop here and do some more homological algebra before we start the theory of Cohen-Macaulay rings next time. Okay, we can stop.